It's Effortless with Spiegel and Piddle.
That is easily the worst introduction we've ever had.
Well, yeah, but see, this is the way we filter out the people who suck and don't really want to listen to the show.
This enthusiasm behind that.
Yeah. I actually kind of liked it. I think it'll be a great intro when all is said and done. The best part is it's going to have some really lively music as the intro. I haven't decided what yet, but I'll think of something.
I think you've already done polka, right?
Yeah, polka was already there. That was Weird Al with Pokemon. I don't know. Maybe we'll do another polka. I got plenty of it.
You know what? I think we should polka every week.
All right. No, not every week. I don't have that many. But
he's lying.
I don't know. Maybe. Yeah, I'm a big polka enthusiast. It's just a big polka collection in my iTunes library. I got 5,000 polkas, and if we ever make it to 5,000 episodes, I'll download some more. So here we are. This is Effortless. We are going to be having our typical schoolyard conversation about how the teacher was really mean today, and about what games we're playing, and how to get past Ganon in The Legend of Zelda. And we're actually going to start off with our 52 games in 52 weeks. Last week we actually took a hiatus because we were both really super busy. So this week is now actually week 6 of our 52. I am still playing Xenoblade Chronicles. I'm 35 hours into it. It never wants to end, and I'm totally okay with it because that game is freaking great. It is a great, great game.
And I am still working on Rayman Legends here and there. These last couple weeks have been really busy for me.
So I understand that you do not like Rayman Legends as much as the average gaming fan.
You know, I was wondering what it was about the game that's just so awful for me, and I realized the Rayman Legends or the Rayman levels aren't the worst. Sometimes they're a little bit lacking in variety for my tastes. But it's...
Are you playing it on Vita or Wii U or...
I'm playing it on Vita.
Okay.
Yeah.
That might have something to do with it. I'm not going to just throw the Vita version under the bus, but I don't know, maybe.
When I researched it, a lot of people said the Vita and the Wii U versions were the best two versions.
Okay.
But for anybody who's played it, there's these Murphy levels where you play as Murphy instead of Rayman or your choice of hero. And the Murphy levels are all just they're touchscreen games where you like rotate the Vita or the Wii U gamepad if you had the Wii U gamepad.
I remember playing those levels in the demos at GameStop. Well, like before the Wii U came out, they had Rayman Legends as a demo, and those were the levels that were on there.
Yep, and yeah, like you're like tapping on the enemies and no real like direct control over Murphy. It's just an AI running through the levels and you trying to pretty much manipulate the AI. And I mean, I don't know about you, but I cannot stand touchscreen games for the most part.
Really? Huh.
A lot of the times it just doesn't work for me. Like the DS, every game that was mostly touchscreen, I could not play.
So you didn't like Feel the Magic?
Actually, that was one of the ones that I did love. I loved Feel the Magic for some reason.
I played that for the first time like early this year, and I'm like, this is so weird, and that's really the only word I can think of to describe it. But that game was all touch based, and I figured if you don't like touchscreen games, like why did you like that game?
I think because it was so weird and so out there, and every little game that you played was so wildly different from the last. It had the variety.
Yeah, that's true.
That I like in my games.
So you're saying the Rayman doesn't have the variety that you require on your... Like, it's not like a Mario game where every level they introduce a new mechanic or something. It just gets more difficult. Is that what you're saying? Maybe that's why it's not satisfying.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
It's just like... I mean, they try to throw things at you and expand on it, sort of like the Mario thing. Like, all right, here you got to just tap on a guy, and then, now we're going to add these platforms that you have to move back and forth, and then a little later you'll be trying to move platforms for Murphy to run on, and at the same time tap on these enemies. But the thing is, it's like you can really just take your time with the majority of these Murphy levels, because he's not, the AI is sort of designed where like he's not really going to die. He's just going to sit there and wait for you to make a move.
That doesn't sound that good.
And
that's disappointing.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm sure you can die with him. I'm sure there are times where it's possible to screw up and get Murphy to die. But those times have been
far you are
very.
Do you know how far you are into the game?
I would say I'm probably like 3/4 of the way through the game.
Well, if you haven't seen it yet, I don't think you're probably going to see it at the end of the game either.
Yeah.
So well, that's disappointing because I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to let my opinion of the game be affected by you, but I know a lot of people do like it. I haven't played it yet, so but I mean, you know, it's disappointing to hear that a game that has received so much universal praise is not enjoyed by someone, but I don't know. I mean, it happens, I guess. Some people didn't like Uncharted 2.
This is true. Yeah. I've looked around and I've noticed on some forums that some people feel the same way about the Murphy levels, that it's like a great game, but then there's some Murphy levels. And then I've also read that like, the Murphy levels, there's only one Murphy level in each, I guess, like world area of the game. But if that's true, then like it sure doesn't feel like that. To me, it feels like I'm constantly playing as Murphy, and I'm just like, oh man, not another level with him. So
is he that big like blue guy thing?
Yeah, he's a big blue guy.
Okay. Kind of reminds me of Big the Cat from Sonic Heroes.
Oh man,
but in a much less embarrassing way.
Those fishing levels, gotta love them.
Ugh. Yeah, that's the best thing that Sonic has done in 15 years. Okay, we got our Sonic hate in. So we're gonna go on to our next segment if you're ready. I'm really aiming to finish Xenoblade this week. I'm not sure if I'm gonna have a whole lot of time, but if I can just squeeze like 20 more hours in this week, I might be able to do it.
I want to rate this game.
Doesn't that sound like a tall order?
I'm at the point where I just want to like give this game its score out of 5 and be done. And it's sort of disappointing for me because I wanted to, like, I was hoping I'd really love this game, and then I want to go back and play Rayman Legends not Rayman Legends, Rayman Origins, just for more. And that's not how I feel after this game.
Right. To what point do you feel like you can rate a game? Like, how far into a game do you feel like you need to get in order to be able to give it an accurate score?
Probably at least halfway through.
Yeah, because I know a lot of reviewers out there just will play like the first 10 hours of like a super long game, or like, you know, the first quarter of it, and then be able to review it. And I don't feel like you need to complete it, because I don't feel like you need a like ridiculous story analysis and like, you know, like if the story is really deep, I don't feel like you need to experience the whole story to be able to score it. But I do feel like you need to experience the twists and turns of the plot just so you can feel what the pacing is like. Because honestly, anyone who makes it 30 hours into a 60-hour-long game, you kind of know what's going on. And even if the story experiences these crazy twists and turns by the end, most people are only going to play the game for like 30 hours and then put it down or less. So I think that's really all people need in a review. Does that make sense?
Completely makes sense. I don't think you really need the whole game in order to grade it.
That being said, I am ready to score Xenoblade Chronicles. I will give you a hint. It's going to be a very, very good score. I think my best score yet, so you can figure that out.
Oh.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking the opposite for mine.
Uh-oh. Anyway.
But it is what it is, and I don't know.
Oh, side note, incidentally, I had someone ask me at my game store job yesterday about Cities Skylines because they were selling cards for it. And I'm like, dude, my friend swears by that game. He says it's amazing. In fact, if you want to listen to his thoughts on it, he made a video about it. And of course, I didn't include myself because we're not allowed to self-promote at my job. But I promoted you, and I promoted your video,
yes,
which you can watch on the ZB Network YouTube channel.
That is fantastic. I love it.
So we may have another viewer, maybe, probably not,
maybe,
but well, we'll see. I don't know. It's not like people who play City Skylines is our target audience here, but that's fine. People who are our target audience, huge.
Do we know yet?
I would say gamers, maybe.
Possibly.
Like, I know we're big Nintendo fans and everything, but I like to think that we cover enough of the other companies to keep everybody interested. Maybe. Lately, we've been doing a lot of Nintendo talk, but today I think we can get more into the general.
I'll admit, like, I'm a big big Sega fan. Well, we've already talked about this a bit. I mean, I grew up a Sega fan, and
There's people today who don't even know what Sega is. They're like, "What's that? Like a dental company?"
no, now they're just a pachinko company.
Yeah.
Yay.
Mobile games. Oh, mobile games. By the way, I keep pulling us from topic to topic, but this is actually really important. Konami says the future of gaming is mobile.
The future of gaming is
that?
mobile.
Did you see that? They said that the future of gaming is mobile gaming.
Oh, are we going to talk about that already? I love it.
I mean, this isn't going to be like the main topic of today's subject of today's show, and like I said, I keep pulling us from topic to topic, but I feel like this is really important. So I know you have a very strong view on Konami lately, so go ahead, unload.
Konami, what have you done? What have you done to games?
Why have you done this?
My big thing about this is just mobile gaming it's a part of gaming, and you're not going to expand the market just by going after mobile gamers. Mobile gamers are fickle. They're fickle creatures. Nobody really understands them.
They're the people who bought the Wii, Nobody cares about the Wii anymore.
Yeah. People just like, Wii, what? Every person who really considers themselves a gamer is just like, the Wii. I mean, some people will be like, yeah, the Wii was fun in some ways, but a lot of ways it just wasn't that good.
Would anybody ever put a Wii on the top 10 game consoles of all time list? That is a game that considers themselves a hardcore gamer. I consider myself a hardcore gamer. It's not in my top 10. I don't think I've even played 10 consoles.
Even though I loved the Wii,
that's a joke.
And I loved so many games on it, I don't even know that I would put it in my maybe I'd put it in my top 10, but definitely not my top 5.
Yeah, no way. And and it's the same way with people who aren't hardcore gamers. That when the novelty wore off, it was like that was it. And so then those people went to mobile. The people who played DS and Wii went to mobile. They filtered into that one category because those needs were fulfilled by mobile games. It was the same type of games. So here's all these people playing mobile games like, I don't know, whatever. And Konami says that that's where the money is, and I don't know if I agree with that either.
It's where the money is, but the real question is, are you going to be able to get a piece of that money? I mean, we can look at all the names lately. There was Zynga. Zynga's, a Facebook fan, which is in a lot of ways like mobile gaming, and they started to struggle keeping their profits up. You have.
I think you could argue that's because the company was very badly run, though, not because the games were,
expanding
not
too
interesting
quick.
to people. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's sort of what they're trying to do, though, because they want to expand because they want to increase their profits. But the thing is, when you've got these games that are sort of one-hit wonders, can you really continue to do that? Now, in Zynga's defense, they have had more than just one game that's been really good for that kind of market. I'm not a fan of Farmville and I don't know.
Mob Wars and
Yeah.
Zynga Poker and whatever else they did.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of those games, but I mean, they have continued to produce games that casual players really enjoy. But then you have Rovio, or if I'm pronouncing that correctly, with Angry Birds.
It's pronounced Ravio. He was in Link Between Worlds.
Yeah. And they had Angry Birds, and I remember I think it was the CEO of Ravio, and the CEO said, "Oh yeah, Angry Birds is going to be the next Mario. It's going to be that big of a brand name." And I just like to say, is that not to a point true? They have done a lot with merchandising, and there's a theme park, I believe, somewhere.
What?
Yes, this is a thing.
What would you even do there? Oh, you go on the Angry Birds ride. You go on a slingshot thing, and then you buy an Angry Birds ice cream cone, and it tastes like bird crap. I don't know. That's the Angry Birds theme park.
Well, yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
You maybe you shoot instead of throwing baseballs at the milk bottles you throw little Angry Birds at.
See, this is an example of how much I actually know about mobile gaming. Like, I'm just like, I know there's birds, and I know you shoot them at like towers, and you try to knock down the towers. So I guess that's exactly what the theme park is. Like, there's no creativity in my mind to like come up with an idea for an Angry Birds theme park. I'm just like, it would be exactly like the game, and that's it.
Yep. Well, I actually don't really know, but Angry Birds, they've done a good job to an extent of like trying to keep the franchise going, but with something that simple, there's not a ton of directions you can go in, and
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
the company's profits have been, of course, just gradually starting to sink because there's only so much you can do off of one franchise, and plus it's mobile gaming, and people get tired of it.
Right.
They're ready to move on, no matter how. I mean, unless you're really, really good at throwing in new wrinkles, and yeah, they were for a while, but
the nature of mobile games is that they're just kind of repetitive, right? Because that's sort of just what they are. Like they're designed to play in short bursts. They're repetitive, so you don't forget like what your goal is or anything like that. And I think eventually the games just start to suffer from that, and then people just move on. It's like people got tired of Flappy Bird, and I mean, not surprisingly. I think a lot of mobile games are very predictable in the way that they die often a very quick death. And so that's why I'm not sure if Konami's right about saying that's where the money is, because as soon as people get tired of Konami's trick, I mean, they're going to have to come up with something else. And I mean, that's not as easy as just releasing a new Metal Gear every 5 years and saying, this is the brand new Metal Gear, and it's AAA title, and it's going to make a crap ton of money because everyone's excited for it and all this. I just don't feel like mobile games have that sort of mass market appeal, especially not when the market's already so big.
Yeah, and continues to grow at
even an established name like Nintendo, I feel like might struggle out of the gate with this mobile gaming stuff. Maybe.
I think Nintendo actually has a lot going for them in terms of brand power, but
I mean, I agree with that.
But I think it's just going to be a small piece of their overall puzzle. They're not banking everything on mobile gaming, and they never will. And I think they understand why they can't go that direction.
Right. Like Sega and Konami are all in on this mobile gaming, but I feel like Nintendo is using it as kind of like a filter to like get people to come back to their home console stuff.
Sort of like the DS, and when it first came out and they were talking about, they sort of preemptively talked about, oh, this is just a third pillar, just in case, case it failed. And I feel like that's what mobile gaming will be to Nintendo. It's just going to be a third pillar, and maybe
until it's a massive success and they make hundreds of billions of dollars, and they're like, yeah, we actually don't need home consoles anymore.
Oh man!
And then we will cry, and we will do a effortless Nintendo funeral.
Everybody will be doing it, but
yeah,
at least they have companies like Konami paving the way for them, so they can see how it goes for them.
Well, I think the difference between Konami and Nintendo is that Konami does not nearly have the brand power that Nintendo has. I mean, everyone knows who Konami is, but what do you associate with Konami? Metal Gear for me, but Metal Gear's not going to be on mobile. You can't do that.
No.
You could. You do a Metal Gear Endless Runner with Raiden running around naked trying to avoid people endlessly. That's a really bad idea. But it's a mobile game, so it'll get published.
But remember, Konami's not just doing that. They're also going with the pachinko machines too, right?
I didn't even know that. You know more about that than I do.
I believe Konami is also going with pachinko, which is just, mobile gaming and pachinko. If you don't know, it's those games where you would have like a bunch of pins in place, and
if you played Super Mario Sunshine, you know what it is for sure.
And you like drop a ball in the top, and the ball drops, and you want it to go into like a certain hole or whatever as it falls down, and it's hitting these pins.
I mean, it's essentially gambling, right?
Yeah, it's essentially just gambling. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. And it's funny because like I talk about this, and I think Sega Sammy does this now, and before Sega became Sega Sammy or Sammy Sega, whatever, because Sammy merged with Sega. I'm just thinking, oh wait, Sega had in Shenmue 2, right before their complete collapse, they had practically pachinko machines in Shenmue 2. Shenmue 2 was just a foretelling of what's going to happen to Sega in the future. But like you're looking at Konami and they're trying to do pachinko machines, they're trying to do mobile gaming, and it's just like these are just really, it's all gambling for them, all of it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of an ironic way to look at it, I guess. But I think we kind of covered that base. Leave us your thoughts about mobile gaming in the comments. Don't forget to leave comments. We like them.
Yeah.
Piddle still hasn't gotten in there and like mixed it up with people.
I will.
He's going to at some point.
I'm gonna.
That
go
could
after
be
you
the
guys.
running joke. That could be the running joke of this show. Like you're gonna do it, but you never actually do.
It will. No, I will eventually.
But
I'm
we're
just
gonna move on.
so scared of our listeners.
Oh yeah, me too. I'm terrified. But we're gonna move on actually, and we're gonna. This is actually really interesting. I came up with this idea, and because Piddle and I both have these like serious problems. We're very messed up people, and I mean you can tell just by listening to the first 20 minutes of the show that we're very messed up. But we decided that we were going to do a segment called Gaming Counseling, and we are going to help you with your problems. So the doctor is in. Dr. Spigel is here, and Dr. Piddle, and Nurse Omni, and we are going to be. No, he's not here. We are going to be solving your gaming problems. So go ahead and let's actually do an example first. So Dr. Piddle, I'm having a problem. Okay, I keep buying games and I can't stop.
I can't help you with that.
Okay, well you are a terrible doctor and you should be fired. I'm going to sue you for not malpractice, lack of practice.
Lack of caring.
But let's try
really.
to solve.
What's your problem, Spiegel? Go ahead.
So my problem is I keep buying games. I work at a game store, right? So I get essentially 25% off all games that I buy. Games are very cheap at this store because they are constantly having sales on games for 360. And recently, it's gotten so bad that I have started buying games for consoles I do not own. I have bought all 3 Uncharted games, Red Dead Undead Nightmare for PS3, and Metal Gear Solid 4 Guns of the Patriots. I do not have a PS3 to play these games. They are just sitting there. What do I do to stop the... And I mean, granted, I'm going to rectify that problem because I'm actually going to go buy a PS3 as soon as we're done recording this.
Oh, that was what I was going to suggest first.
Yeah, but as for the other problem, that I can't stop buying games, what do I do? What is the best solution to this terrible, terrible syndrome?
So one thing that I have done before, and it worked really well, is especially when the collection got too big, is I went by the buy a game only after I beat 2 other games.
Now, see, I tried that, and it did not work.
Or even just one game. Even if you're just beating one game before you buy another game, that's
right.
It's a great thing. You can give yourself little goals that you have to accomplish before buying new games, and that's always an option. You just have to stick with it.
So almost like treating it like a gift to yourself. When you beat a game, you accomplish a task that you wanted to accomplish. So here's a reward for that.
Yep, getting a new game.
That seems to be a good idea, and I will have to try that in the future.
Or
starting right now, starting in 2 weeks.
Starting tomorrow, after I go to the store and buy 25 games that I've been looking at.
You're darn right. I'm actually going on a. I'm not going to buy games today. I'm just going to buy the system, and I'm actually going to buy some box art.
He says he's not going to buy any games, but
I'm not going to buy any games.
But listeners, he will.
I'm just looking for box art, okay? Like I need box art for Gears 2, I need box art for Uncharted, and I need box art for Metal Gear, and that's it, I think. So I'm gonna. Oh, and I also need to exchange my Wii Fit Plus because it's scratched. I was trying to exercise this morning, but it was scratched, and I couldn't do my deep breathing exercises. So now I'm breathing in really rapid succession, and it hurts because I didn't do deep breathing. Thanks, Wii Fit.
Yeah. Would Wii Fit count as a game?
Yes.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does.
Really?
You play it. It's a game.
Isn't it more like interactive fitness?
Have you never played Wii Fit?
I did play Wii Fit.
Okay. Well, I was telling my wife this morning, whether or not you consider it a game, I think everyone should play Wii Fit at least once just to sort of get it. Because I think it's really useful. It's a really good tool. It actually helps you lose weight if you do it every day. Like if you do it for 45 to an hour, you actually lose weight. Because I lost weight last summer, I'm going to lose more weight this summer. It's going to be great. So yeah, I would definitely recommend Wii Fit to anybody. As much as I make fun of the Wii, Wii Fit is actually probably one of the best games Nintendo has ever made in terms of actual usefulness.
The one thing Wii Fit now, so you have Wii Fit Plus now, right?
I have Wii Fit Plus now. I upgraded. It was $2.50. No, not Wii Fit U, because the Wii U is a sucky console and it sucks.
I am really curious personally myself, and oh no, we're talking about new games, everybody. Is the one thing that I thought Wii Fit was lacking, and maybe it's just my memory being foggy, is just like a workout mode.
It has that now, kind of, with Wii Fit Plus. Like you have you can set up your own kind of workout plan, and you can like focus on areas that you want to work on.
Does it have suggestions?
Yes, it does. It suggests.
Awesome.
So Wii Fit Plus, in my opinion, fixes all the problems of the original game.
Now does it
like
go
that, like the lack of that, and you can weigh your pet. I was trying to weigh my cat this morning, but she wouldn't stay still. So
will it go straight from one exercise into another?
That I don't know.
Because that is something that's sort of like I mean by like workout mode is you're going to start the game up and you'll pick your like, okay, I want to do today's 20-minute workout, and it'll just go you'll start with some yoga or stretches or whatever, and then you'll go straight into like some push-ups or the other things that Wii Fit has, and then you'll finish with this, and then that's your workout and you're done.
I did not have a chance to see because the disc was scratched and it wouldn't read. So, but as soon as I get it replaced, I will report back.
All right.
So hit me with one of your problems, doctor. I guess we're doctors counseling each other, but that doesn't make any sense.
Oh, you didn't want any more suggestions? Because my second suggestion was leave your job.
Okay. Leave my job?
Yes.
Well, that might happen. That might happen anyway, just to virtue of. Well, I don't want to get into that.
But if you love it, so keep it.
I mean, it's Yeah, I mean, see, here's the thing. Even if I don't get what I want out of the job aspirationally, at least I'm on payroll, and at least I get 25% off games. So, I mean, you can't really beat that. Even if I was getting like even if I was getting 2 hours a week, I get 25% off games. That's like working. Like it's already like I'm making more money because all I spend my money on is games.
That actually raises the question to any of our listeners: have you ever kept a job just for the discount,
or just for the benefits?
Yeah, just
whatever they are, like for the dental plan or whatever.
Exactly. Anybody out there? Have you ever had a job or kept a job just for the benefits?
Dang, we're asking them a lot of questions today. We better get some quality answers.
I know I have. I definitely have.
What was the job? What was the benefit?
And I kept a meager amount of hours at Target just because I did so much shopping there.
Yeah, my wife loves to shop at Target. It's a great store, man.
Yeah.
What was the discount?
It was only like 10%, but then like they had their credit card or their debit card if you wanted, and that gave you like another 5%. So gave me like 15% off, and then every once in a while they would have employee coupons. So one of my favorite
you can
coupons,
buy all the crap that all the customers aren't buying.
One of my favorite coupons was the coupon that gave me 40% off of a Dyson vacuum cleaner.
Could you get free popcorn in the food court?
Unfortunately, no. I know.
See, what would even be the point at that point?
But you would get 10% off.
Target popcorn is best popcorn. I don't think. I mean, there may be an argument to be had, but I don't think so.
It is really good.
Yeah,
I can't argue with that.
So let's. Okay, it's your turn for a problem. Actually, before we do yours, so this is kind of the idea. People who are listening to this, present us with one of your gaming dilemmas, and we will try to solve it. And on next week's show, we will read your problems and we will solve them. If you'd like to remain anonymous, too bad because you can't. But we'd still like to hear your problems.
It is the internet.
So, yeah. I mean, you're anonymous in the sense that it's just your username, but we're going to read your username. So
exactly.
So lie down on the couch and tell us your problems.
All right. So my issue, Spiegel, and I don't know how you're going to answer this.
Okay.
Is
I don't either because I don't know your issue.
I can never get more than and I'm trying to address this with what we're doing, but I have such a hard time getting more than 1 or 2 hours into a new game. Almost all the time I play a game, and it'll be for 1 or 2 hours. And
Do you mean any game or any new game that you like? You
actually,
just bought?
it's almost any game now.
Okay.
And I'll just be like, you know what? I want to play another game that I've owned for a long time and is one of my top, whatever, 50 games or something. And that's my issue. I just like, I'll play a game and I'll be like, I want to play Super Mario 64 instead. And then I'll start playing Super Mario 64 and I'll get a little ways into that and I'll be like, I really haven't played Half-Life 2 in a long time. I'm going to go play that. And then I'll do that for a little bit and I'll get bored after an hour or two and I'll say, I really want to try this brand new game that came out, and I'll buy a brand new game.
So it sounds to me like you have a classic case of gaming deficit disorder in which you cannot focus on more than one game for an extended period of time. So how have you handled that for this 52-52 thing that we're doing?
I have pretty much just tried to stick to the game I'm playing. And it's, in a way...
Is it working?
Well, it's tough. Like, part of the reason I've taken...
I mean, of course it's tough. But I mean,
a factor in me taking so long with beating Rayman Legends is I'm trying not to move on to, like, one of my other games on my list. I know I could. Like, I really been thinking about just play, you know what? I'm just going to play Pikmin 3 instead. But I'm trying to just say, no, I'm going to stick with what I'm playing. I've already started Rayman Legends. I keep working on it. I should just get it out of the way like a Band-Aid, just rip it off.
Yeah.
The problem is this is like the longest Band-Aid in the world.
It's like a 5-foot long Band-Aid that you can't, because it goes up your whole body. It's like it's all the way up your spine and like up to your skull. But so I think my advice to you would be, don't worry too much about like completing everything. Like for Rayman Legends, like if you wanted to stop, I'd say, you know what? I think you can stop. I think you've played enough. If you really aren't loving it that much, there's no reason to force yourself to keep playing a game you don't like. And this was a hard lesson for me to learn, but I eventually learned it just because I felt like there's just so many games and I just keep buying games that if I keep forcing myself to play these games that I don't like, or if I keep replaying games, I'm just going to be drowning in all this stuff that I've never played. And I try to think of it as like opportunity cost. Like you spend all this money, you're just going to waste it. So I try to make myself feel bad for wanting to complete games I don't like, or for wanting to go back to games that I love, thus avoiding more opportunities to play games that I have not played. Does that make sense?
But how am I going to beat 52 games in 52 weeks?
Was the goal to beat 52 games in 52 weeks, or was it to play 52 games in 52 weeks and beat most of them?
Well, I can tell you I could play 52 games in 2 weeks.
Okay, but I mean, like, play a good majority of it and, try to... I mean, I think we kind of determined that when we started doing this thing, that we weren't going to, like, be super hardcore about, like, oh, well, you didn't beat it because you didn't get all the bananas or whatever.
We're not doing completionists, no.
Yeah, but so I don't know. I feel like that the best advice I could give you would just be don't get too worked up about games you don't really love. Don't get too worked up about not playing a lot of them. Like if I get 3 hours into Klonoa and I'm not feeling it, I probably won't pick it up again. And that's something I didn't used to be able to do. You just have to look at it like, do I want to continue to waste my time with this, or would I rather do something that I enjoy, or would I rather experience something new? So I think it's okay to play Super Mario 64, twice a year. Just don't go overboard. It's like drinking soda or alcohol. It's like, yeah, you can drink a little soda or a little alcohol. Just don't go crazy. And then, it's like cheating on a diet. It's like, yeah, you can cheat on your diet. Just don't cheat on it all the time. And it's just it's a mental mindset, I think. I mean, all this stuff is mental mindset. It's just, getting the wherewithal to summon up the something to do it. I didn't know how to finish that sentence, but is that good? Is that a good piece of advice?
Perfect.
I hope so. Okay, good.
Perfect. Actually,
I've got another one.
One thing.
Okay, go ahead.
So, like I said, I play a lot of games for just 1 to 2 hours, and I'm gonna throw this out there, but a friend of mine thought about how
a friend
of mine, he thought about how playing games, it's like if if the first part of the game doesn't grab you, is the game really worth playing?
Now, see, I like Twilight Princess. I like it a lot. I think it's actually underrated at this point. I think a lot of people hate on it because of its slow start, and it is a very slow start. But I feel like 3 hours, I don't think that's enough, because Kingdom Hearts 2, that game had like a 3 hour like prologue. I feel like you have to get at least like figure out how long the game is and get like a fifth of the way into it. And if it doesn't grab you at that point, then I think it's okay to put it down. Because I think by the end of the third dungeon, Twilight Princess, like you got past all the crap, and then it was like, okay, the game's gonna start opening up, and you're gonna get some good dungeons in there. So that would be my thought on that. I think play a fifth or a fourth of it, and then you can put it down.
A fifth or a fourth of it?
Yeah, depending on the length of the game.
He actually ended up making a website just based off of the first hour of games.
Really?
And just
what was the?
Yep, it's firsthour.net.
Firsthour.net. Is that the website you wanted to plug earlier?
You bet.
Okay, yeah, because he sent me a message in our little chat, and he's like, "Can I plug this website?" And I didn't see it because I was too busy talking about garbage. So firsthour.net, huh?
Firsthour.net, and
I'll have to check that out.
All it is they do some full reviews, but they also do reviews of just like the first hour of a game. So for those of you who feel like if a game isn't going to grab you in the first hour, why should you keep playing?
I don't feel like that. I don't feel like the first hour is like a great way to judge it. I feel like for some games it has its merit. Like for games like, like sports games, like you can tell if a game's going to be good in the first hour.
Within the first hour, yeah.
But like a story-based game, I feel like it needs some time.
But but is that necessarily true? I mean, there's plenty of great books or movies or games or whatever that I've played where the first part of it wasn't that good, but it just got like too involved in things like character development and such. But then there are the other games, books, movies that I've played, watched, read, that in that first, like if it's in a book, the first chapter or two just does something that's like, oh, that's interesting, like I want to know more about that. Or
I will say that the truly great games, like think of all the amazing games that you know, like what are your favorite games? Like for me it's Metroid Prime, Ocarina of Time, now Xenoblade Chronicles. They all do very interesting things like right off the bat, and it just grabs you like that. And it's like so if a game is truly great, I think it will grab you right out the gate. I don't think Twilight Princess is a truly
great game.
Fantastic game. It's not in my top 50, but it is good. So I think by playing the first hour, you're missing out on some good games, but I don't think you're ever really going to miss out on the truly amazing must-play games. So I think there's that. I think that is pretty much true. I think a lot of people would agree with that.
Mm-hmm. So like I'm thinking like a game like Ocarina of Time, it might take you a little bit longer than the first hour, but you're getting to the.
I think it's pretty captivating right off the bat. I mean, in terms of
that, like I guess you could say through the Great Deku Tree is sort of like the first hour, not quite. It's a little
I think
bit
you could get through the Deku Tree in an hour, and then you'll get out into Hyrule Field and be like, oh crap, this is like a big game.
Yeah.
And then if you're not grabbed at that point, I think. So not necessarily the first hour, but give or take, I guess, depending on how long it takes you. I mean, it's so subjective anyway, but
Or Chrono Trigger, my favorite game of all time. Within the first hour, you're going to a carnival, and you're partaking in some activities with this mystery girl that you bump into, and then suddenly you go into this teleporter and crazy things happen, and you're suddenly somewhere where you have no idea where you are. You teleport somewhere, and it's just like, whoa, what's going on? And there's a lot of things with like the music playing a part of it, but there's a lot of mystery introduced within that first hour of the game.
Yeah, Earthbound, interesting right away. Aliens coming to Earth.
Yeah,
what's going on? Resident Evil 4, drop you off in the middle of a forest. Something crazy happens, and the van goes off a cliff, and you're like, oh crap.
And now you're approaching this town, and the town suddenly within an hour,
that scene,
you've got
that
this.
is one of the most. I just like to say that is one of the most memorable scenes in gaming history. That part where you first approach the town and you see the guy impaled on the thing, and they're like burning him. Like I was freaking scared at that point because I'm like, what is going on? Like I'd never played a Resident Evil game.
And they're just
it
going
was
about
really-
their business, and you walk into
Yeah.
town and they go crazy. You run into a door and you shut the door behind you, and then
Oh crap, chainsaw guy.
chainsaw guy.
Yeah, and I think people who design great games kind of know how to grab you right out the gate, and then they know, and then like that's an important facet to them. It's like, how do we grab them out the gate? And because we know we have a great game, so now let's get them in. Yeah, and so again, I just go back to that thing. I think great, amazing games know how to grab you, and I think they will keep you captivated throughout. And I think you will be able to notice that.
And with books and movies, I think it's largely the same.
Yeah,
I don't know if there's any movies you've watched lately, but one that I rewatched this movie recently, it's The Dark Knight. I rewatched The Dark Knight,
Right.
and I remember they played this the first like several minutes of the movie as like a preview in select theaters before select movies, like well before the movie came out. But the preview was just the beginning of the movie, and it all just led up to revealing the Joker, and it was just this crazy bank heist occurring where you have all these robbers like betraying each other, and finally at the very end one of the guys in their clown mask pulls off the clown mask and it's the Joker underneath.
Oh, it's an actual clown.
Yeah. So it's those kinds of things. Those, I feel like the best games, the best movies, the best books, they aren't just, they're great all the way throughout, and they have that hook in the beginning.
Yeah. So how many times can we say it? You know, you're not going to miss an amazing game if you stop playing it after the first hour because you didn't really, love it. And even if you didn't really love it, like I said, it's all subjective anyway. So,
I think a good thing, and I'm going to throw another question out to our viewers
okay,
or listeners, is
you guys better have some good responses. You have a lot to
come up or discuss with us games that had a good, like an amazing first section of the game, like the first hour or two, that were not good the rest of the way.
That is a challenging question. I'm trying to think of one right now, and I am struggling.
I'm struggling as well. So please.
So maybe we'll get to, unless, I don't know, Smash Brothers Brawl was good for an hour.
Well, that's only because
that doesn't count.
Yeah. Let's forget.
So, so let's. I got another question for Dr. Piddle. If you're ready for another one,
You bet.
We're getting ready to wrap up here. We're going pretty long. So, do you want to do one more? Or do you have another one? I only have one more, really.
I don't have any more.
Okay, so we'll just do this one and then we'll wrap. But I have so I have this big problem, and this came to light the moment that the Virtual Console started existing, and I bought Mega Man, and a lot of people said, "Well, why didn't you buy a Mega Man 2? It's better." And I'm like, I know Mega Man 2 is better, but I
have
can't
to start
play,
at the beginning.
I can't play it yet. I have to start at the beginning. This is a serious problem for me, especially with games. I have not played a Final Fantasy game. I'm terrified. I can't just play Final Fantasy 7. What about the other 6? I can't just start on, Dead Space 2. I have to find and play the original one first. This is a serious issue for me, and I don't know how to get around it.
Unfortunately, I cannot help you.
You are the worst doctor
I can't
ever.
I can't. So, as you know, my gamepad is broken, right?
Right?
I have Bayonetta 2 for the Wii U.
Oh, boy.
And it comes with the
so you have
original Bayonetta, which I have
Yeah?
never played before. And, of course, I don't want to play it on PlayStation 3. I don't have a 360, but I don't want to play it on PlayStation 3 because the PlayStation 3 port was terrible. And if I have the option
No,
between
I thought it was I thought it was the 360 port that was terrible.
No, it was the PlayStation 3. Yep.
Oh, okay.
And I don't want to have to choose between that and playing it in 60 frames per second on like the Wii U. I mean, the answer is obvious, is it not? But
yeah.
Here's the issue I ran into. I can play Bayonetta 2 with a gamepad. However, with the first Bayonetta, I know you can play it with a gamepad, but you have to start the game you can play the game with the controller, but you have to
Pro controller.
Yeah,
you have to start the game with the gamepad,
you
right?
have to start the game with the gamepad. I don't know why. It makes no sense to me. Bayonetta 2, it's not that way. You can start the game with the controller, no problem. But Bayonetta, You cannot play, like, you have to start it with the gamepad before you can start playing with the controller.
Right.
So I have not played Bayonetta 2, and I really want to, but I refuse to play it until I play Bayonetta 1.
So yeah, this is a really terrible affliction, clearly, because it affects both of us. So I guess, I don't know, I'll try to give advice to myself. Don't worry about it, question mark?
Don't worry about it. Easy for you to say.
I mean, it would help if there was an example where the first game was like really, really bad, so there's no reason to play it, and the second one is just better in every way. But, I mean, even if Mega Man 2 is better than Mega Man's still a decent game, so I just don't see a reason why I shouldn't play it first. I don't know. I just feel like it helps to have series in context, because it makes you appreciate the good stuff that much more, I guess.
What about playing series through like generations? Like, let's say the first game is on one generation and the second game is on like the next generation.
So a good example of this, actually, I guess it's not that great of an example. I was going to use Mario Kart, but it's not a great example because I've been playing Mario Kart since Nintendo 64. So I've pretty much played every iteration of it, with the exception of Super Mario Kart, as it came out. But so let me think. What would be a good example of this?
Resident Evil.
Okay, so I played Resident Evil 4 before I had this very bad problem. I actually am going to go back and play all the other Resident Evil games. So here's kind of an extension of it, right? Resident Evil and Resident Evil 2 are both really, really good. Resident Evil 4 is amazing. Resident Evil 5 is pretty good. Resident Evil 3 is garbage. So what do I do?
Is it?
That's what I understand.
I know some people that really like the third one.
Really?
I think. Was it the third one is Nemesis, I believe.
I think so. It's not a great example because I wasn't really super prepared to discuss it, but from what I understand, or from what I think I understand, Resident Evil 3 is not very good. So let's just say for the sake of discussion that it isn't. So what do I do? Do I play it? Do I
skip it?
Skip it? Do I kind of look up the story so I kind of know? I mean, story in Resident Evil is like irrelevant anyway, but because nothing makes any sense.
Well, since this is such a great time in the digital era, don't play games that you don't want to play that are bad. Instead, watch somebody play them. Watch a Let's Play. Enjoy it. And then just move on to the next game.
Yeah.
Don't waste your time with a bad game.
Or money.
Yeah, or
Most
money.
importantly. I have all the time in the world. I don't have any money.
Watch somebody else play it. Get the story that way. Learn about the game that way.
That's actually a pretty dang good piece of advice. That is what I pay you for. So, I think.
By the way, I'm not making anything.
Yeah. So here we are at the end of our Dr. Piddle and Spigel segment. So hope you liked it. The doctor is now not in anymore, so we can go back to being regular people. Yeah.
Join us next week.
No. We got stuff to talk about still.
Oh wait,
we have one. Okay, this is actually the most important topic I think we had planned for today. Maybe ever, actually, depending on how you look at it. So Piddle is a swimmer, so he eats a lot of food, and I'm fat, so I eat a lot of food. And so naturally,
we both do.
Yeah. So naturally, we're both very big on food, and Piddle found this article last week on Thrillist.com. Do you want to go ahead and introduce this article?
The article. Oh man. So
it's the best article ever written, really.
Who doesn't love fast food? We all love fast food.
Well, you get those like hipsters like, oh, I only eat organic food grown on the mountains in Chile, and coffee.
Maybe they say that, but secretly deep down, they want to go. They want to stop at McDonald's. They look at the McDonald's, they're like, "Oh man, McDonald's sounds so good right now." They're just stronger people than you and I, and they keep.
No, driving. They're not even stronger people. They do it anyway. They just pretend that they don't.
They do it. They say, "I only did it once this week. It doesn't count."
Once a week is a lot, actually.
Once a month. Once a month is, I think. Like, when I'm an adult, when I actually become an adult, my goal is to eat fast food no more than one time a month. Right now, I work in fast food, so I actually end up eating it 4 times a week. But, it's free. Do you get a discount with that?
No, it's free. Since I'm a manager, I get free food.
Well, why wouldn't you then?
I get up to $4. Yeah, so, I mean, I don't really have a choice. I have to eat fast food. Like that doesn't make any sense.
I love that. I don't have a choice.
Yeah, but that's what I tell myself. That's why I'm so fat right now. But anyway, so we have this article, and it's called.
It's amazing. Hold on. I'm supposed to introduce it, not you.
All right. Well, you took forever. So
see,
go ahead.
He's trying to.
Well,
steal
you were like,
people.
oh, well, there's the people who don't do it, and then this, and then whatever. Go ahead.
So in an age where the dollar menu isn't really a dollar menu anymore. It's the dollar plus menu.
Yeah.
I found this article, and it's how to squeeze the absolute most out of $5 at Wendy's, Chipotle, and more.
It's all about those Lincolns.
Yep. Keeping it down to $5 or less, not including tax, because sales tax everywhere is a little bit different.
Yeah.
But I saw this article, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is like the best thing ever, especially because they lead it off pretty much by saying, you know what, here's how we're going to grade it. Like we're going to look at what goes well together. So that's good, because I mean, a lot of times
you don't want to just get like a large curly fry and like a packet of sweet and sour sauce. You know, that's not like a meal.
It's ugh. Well, or
it's
or
not
all
even
you're
anything.
going to go is you're going to go buy $5 or 5 McChickens from the dollar menu, and that's just too much McChicken.
Okay.
But this is like, yeah, we're going to try to put together meals for you to eat for $5 or less, and it has to taste great. It needs to work well with other menu items, so that's like a full meal. And of course, obviously, it has to have a high calorie content because that's all you really care about, right?
We're
when
human
you eat
beings.
fast. Yeah, if you're buying cheap, all you care about is how many calories you can put into your body
For as cheap as possible.
Basically.
Basically.
Yep. So
I mean, some people look for things like taste, but not me. Screw that.
Yeah, me neither. I go to the store and I look at that 20-pound bag of rice, and that's all I buy. That's all I eat.
So how about this? Instead of spoiling the entire article, let's just give a couple examples, and then we can have the links so that people can look themselves. Does that sound like a good idea?
Perfect.
Okay, so you do Taco Bell. I really like Taco Bells.
I love Taco Bell, and we might have to talk about some more things Taco Bell related.
We don't have a lot of time left, but and there's actually one other thing.
We'll keep it quick.
Yeah.
So Taco Bell, they suggest you get the XXL grilled stuffed beef burrito.
Holy crap.
Which, as they say, has 8 times the number of calories as your average Doritos Locos taco.
Which, by the way, are really freaking good.
Yes.
I'm not gonna diss the Doritos Locos taco.
They are very good. But it has 8 times the calories, and that's what we really care about, right?
Oh yeah.
And then
they even describe it as a behemoth, which I find hilarious. Like, I'm looking at the picture, it's like that thing is like 3 times the size of a cup of water.
It is
Look at
big.
the cup of water and look at the freaking burrito. That thing is a monster.
And then they throw on some cheesy nachos, because why not?
89 cents?
And then this is like the only one where they say, have some water. This is one of the very, very few ones where they suggest having water instead of like another kind of drink.
Which
is okay.
I like the line they
water.
use too. Despite the best efforts of Bond villains, water continues to be free. It's good stuff.
Exactly.
It also has no calories though, so there are some downsides to water.
Some downsides, but I mean, we're talking over 1,000 calories for under $5.
Heck yeah.
Perfect.
$4.88 pre-tax is what it says.
All right. Do you have a favorite?
So I'm gonna go one more. Actually, my favorite restaurant is not on here. I don't see Popeyes anywhere. Popeyes is my favorite, and actually they have a really good deal right as of now. I think they're still doing it. It's a this is not as part of the article, but I'm going to say it anyway because it's really good. It's a $5 thing plus tax. So it's gonna come out in California to be $5.41. It is 3 spicy tenders, 2 sides, so you can get fries, macaroni and cheese, mashed potatoes, whatever, and a biscuit for $5. It's freaking ridiculous. It's the best deal I've ever seen, and it's like 1,500 calories. If you're talking about calories, Popeye's got your calories.
That sounds wonderful.
You could probably go get that right now if you wanted to.
Sounds so good.
If you're listening to this, I think the deal goes to like the 26th of May, so you don't have a lot of time. So go check it out. But I'm going to read my favorite one from this article, which my other favorite restaurant would be Wendy's. Wendy's is really, really good.
Wendy's is.
Yeah. So they say this is actually one of the rare cases where ordering a meal is the way to go. They got the junior bacon cheeseburger, small fries, and a small Coke, and they topped it off with a quote, very necessary small chocolate frosty, all for a total of $4.58. That's less than
What
you
a
could
deal.
buy. That's less than We Fit Plus, man. And
I would almost even add just like another burger to it.
I would argue that it's a better life choice than We Fit Plus too, because you can eat 1,150 calories for under $5. So that's my favorite one.
I'm going to throw one more out there.
Okay,
just
go ahead.
Because I love their curly fries, Arby's.
Arby's. Ugh, not a fan.
And they do it perfectly. They say like the only reason to go to Arby's is really just the curly fries.
Oh yeah, well I agree with that. I mean,
Best thing ever.
yeah.
So you get a curly fries. I've actually been known to go to Arby's and only order curly fries. And throw on a value chicken sandwich, which I mean probably isn't that bad, and a value-sized Jamocha shake. Which sounds
Jamocha.
really good.
What is
A
Jamocha?
Jamocha. It's a mix of coffee and mocha.
What is the Ja part?
Java coffee? I don't know.
Oh yeah, probably Java. I didn't even think about that.
So-
So this is a great website, Thrillist.com. It's all about. I mean, I don't know if it's all about food, but all their food articles are the only stuff worth
All
reading.
their food articles just like they get me here. Like
I'm
just
I'm
gonna
looking
throw
down the
some
page.
quick ones out there.
Okay,
I'm
go
gonna throw
ahead.
some quick ones out there. They mentioned that a new Taco Bell in Chicago is going to serve beer and twisted freezies with rum and vodka.
I'm freaking moving to Chicago. I don't. That's amazing.
It sounds like a good reason, right? And then they talk about how s'more Oreos are going to come out.
What?
S'more Oreos.
Where?
And I mean, just think about that. That sounds delicious.
Yes, and it also sounds like the worst decision you could make.
Here's another one. This is even better. You're talking
Okay.
about bad decisions.
Okay.
They have a recipe for Cap'n Crunch chicken fried steak.
Oh my God, that's almost as good as the Did you see the Taco Bell like Captain Crunch? Cap'n Crunch. Like they were doing like the donut hole things.
The donut hole things with Cap'n Crunch.
Are you
Yes.
freaking kidding me? That's gonna kill everybody in this country. We're all gonna be dead because of Captain Crunch donut holes.
Curse you, Taco Bell.
This is amazing. So there's that. You have any more? I have a good one right here. I
Go
found a
for
good
it.
one. So I have what your favorite fast food chain says about you. So let's see. Burger King. Suspecting you might have royal ancestry, you started to trace your lineage but balked at Ancestry.com's pricey $20 membership. Instead, you spent the money on a Whopper Jr. and 600 chicken nuggets. What else? Jimmy John's. You straight up love mayonnaise. Popeyes, you grew up in Franklinton, but tell everyone you're from Baton Rouge. Your job in data processing at Our Lady of the Lake Medical Center doesn't challenge you in ways like you thought it would. You're good at hunting, but you like the camaraderie. Or you're not good at hunting, but you like the camaraderie. I don't understand that one, but... Wendy's, a ginger fetish that is surpassed only by a fondness for cubist artwork and Frosties.
Perfect.
So, yeah, that's a good one,
Yeah.
because I do have a ginger fetish.
So if you love food, like we love food, which
Or
you probably
gingers.
do because... What?
Or gingers.
Or gingers. Then check out Thrillist.com.
Yeah,
as well.
I never thought I'd be plugging something that wasn't actually mine, but we've already done a couple things today. Like we plugged Thrillist and we plugged firsthour.net. So you're
And
welcome.
I
You're
believe
welcome.
you had a plug for Popeyes.
And Popeyes too. And honestly, all the fast food places that we talked about today.
Yes.
So
I think I have to throw it out there real quick, but I love what Taco Bell's doing.
yeah,
Cap'n Crunch donut things, twisted freezies.
Taco Bell comes out with like a new product every month, and every month I go there and I try. I'm like, this is great, and then the next month I come back and it's gone, and I'm like, that is sad.
And I'm going to throw it out there, people, but Taco Bell breakfasts are surprisingly good.
Are you a breakfast defector?
I might be a breakfast defector.
Have you seen those stupid commercials?
There is I think it's like the Crunch Wraps, their morning Crunch Wraps are amazingly good. I have to say I'm surprised.
I'm sorry, I got distracted by this Jack in the Box description. You once ate a taco at a Mexican restaurant and swore off ethnic cuisine forever.
Yep, that's right.
Hilarious. Yep, yeah, that's totally right. We are the whitest people ever. I don't think you can get more white than me and Piddle.
So anything else, Spiegel?
No, No, this show's been dead in the water for the last 10 minutes. We spent the last 10 minutes talking about food. No one wants to hear this.
Everybody wants food.
Maybe they do. I don't know. Like, sound off in the comments below if you liked our food section.
I'm just looking at a target audience.
We'll become a food critic show, maybe.
Generally guys. And what do guys like? We like food. We like games. We like sports. And we like beer.
Women.
So I think and women. So you know what? We got to get the beer and the women in there. But we're off to a good start.
I have a story about a woman that I could tell. It's really quick. I'm going to throw it in there.
All right, throw it.
So I'm working my other job the other night, the hot dog job, and I'm working drive-through. And this woman comes up, and she's like all giggly and whatever. I figured, whatever. She's just having a good night or something. And then I hand her food, and she like starts dropping stuff. Like she drops the mustard I hand her. She's like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so nervous." I'm like, "Why would you be nervous? I'm just handing you your food." And then it hits me. This girl is into me. And then I tell my coworker, and he's like, "No, man, she's just high." And I think that's how we should end our show today, with a high woman who's into Spiegel.
Who you think is into you?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I have this thing where I think all women are into me, but none of them really are. You can just ask my wife.
We're over an hour long. This is effortless.
She's nodding right now.
Yeah, we got to end it now.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so this was Effortless. Thanks for listening, everybody. I'm Spiegel. He's Piddle. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Share this show with your friends if you thought it was funny. I actually thought this was a really funny episode, so if you like funny episodes, then this is your show. We're going to try to capture that lightning in a bottle for next week. We got a lot of stuff to talk about next week. It's our big E3 preview, so keep an eye out for that. It's going to be posted on Saturday. It's going to be amazing. So, yeah. Anything else?
That's it.
All right. Spiegel, Piddle, out. Effortless. Bye-bye.
If I could stick my hand in my heart, spill it all over the stage, would it satisfy you? Would it slide on by you? Would you think the boy is strange? Ain't it strange?